Today, employers are increasingly integrating their background screening programs with their applicant tracking systems and or talent management platforms. My name is Nick Fishman, and today we're going to talk about that with Jason Morris, our President and Chief Operating Officer, and Kelly Lucia, our Director of Client Relations. So, Jason, what's the benefit?
There's so many benefits to integrating your background screening program into the talent management portals. Duplicative data entry is obviously number one. You don't have to have your HR professionals, recruiters entering different things into different systems. That's paramount. The second thing is accuracy. If you have to be duplicative, then you have the propensity to make mistakes. And if you type a name in wrong or a date of birth in wrong, you could seriously miss a record. So having the data entered into a system one time is a great way to streamline that process.
Yeah, so the candidate's already entered that data again. There's no reason to enter it again.
Right, and then you can't disqualify the candidate experience. I mean, for a candidate to have to enter multiple things into multiple systems really doesn't give that person a good experience with your company. So I would put those as the main reasons you'd want to do it.
Yeah, and Kelly, it saves HR departments a lot of time, doesn't it? Which ultimately leads to saving money.
It does, and from the candidate's point of view, just making sure that it's very easy for them to follow. You want it to be, you can have help wizards, you can make sure that they're aware of the types of things they're going to be filling out. Because you're also branding yourself. It's a way, instead of just having an application for them to fill out, they can put their logo on it and it's going to reinforce the employer's brand.
Yeah, and you talk about the candidate experience. That's a really important element of these integrations because, I think initially when they were done is people just wanted to port data from one system to another, and they really didn't think about the person that was entering the data, how it was working. So, now you can do things like, a welcome message that explains what you're doing, why you're doing it. You can do things like, on every single page, telling them what information you're looking for and why you're looking for that information. There are other things as well. Anything come to mind?
One of the things that I've loved in the last couple of years is the generation of being able to use mouse signatures. I think that when integrations first happened, they figured, the release was a secondary part of the, secondary thought. When the integration was going on, they figured they'd just do an electronic signature. Well, employers didn't want to accept those electronic signatures, so we started seeing technologies out there that would bring a mouse signature into place, which would allow the applicant to sign the release with their mouse, and the acceptance rate of those are unbelievable, and it's very cool technology. Along with that, we've seen smarter forms. It doesn't allow for mistakes to be made because the forms are smarter, and that allows for the applicant to enter their information incorrectly.
And you can many times customize it by state. If there's certain regulations in certain areas, it will know based on what the applicant has put in what questions it may have to ask from a legal perspective. And it also just makes sure that the information comes through quickly. It's a faster experience for the applicant when you don't have that data entry that maybe is required for a background check. It's going to go through to the background check company quickly, and the applicant will also have an answer probably faster because of that.
Sure. I mean, the other thing that I think that we've seen that can be very successful is only asking the applicant for the information you need for that particular background check. So, in other words, if you're doing a criminal background check, there's no need for you to ask for their their driver's license number. So things like that. It's also, if they entered in their application who they worked for, where they worked, and you're doing an employment verification, just carry the information forward. There's no reason to ask them to do it again. But there is also something really important when it comes to employers that you don't want to forget, and that is, can you contact that employer or not? You want to talk about this?
Yeah, I mean, you want to make sure that the same information that's important to you on a paper application or on the front end of an ATS is just as important to you when you make the process electronic. And I'm a big believer in doing a manual process first to figure all the nuances out. But making sure that one little box, can you contact the current employer, is available to the screener is so important. Otherwise, they're going to make a big mistake and you could lose a candidate because of it.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen information come over to us where they didn't ask the question and it was a current employer and they weren't supposed to be contacted, but there was no way of determining that.
Right.
So, yeah, you absolutely want to take those steps.
Right.
The bottom line with these integrations as well is, they're timely and they're costly. So another piece of advice is really making sure that as an employer, you're accounting for everybody's needs when you develop that integration. It's more than just IT, right?
Absolutely.
I think so, and you need to make sure everyone's on the same page. We talked about a lot of these things that you can pre-integrate so it'll ask for the current employer. the applicant tracking system, the employer, and the background screening company need to know what information has to be passed back and forth. So you may ask that question, but make sure everyone's on the same page as what's required when it actually does come over for the background check.
And back to the candidate experience, a lot of it just still boils down to the candidate experience. You know, I read a statistic that somebody makes their decision whether or not they're going to stay at a job within the first 30 days. Well, that actually starts before they start working there. That onboarding process, that application process, it's all important to give that applicant a good feeling about the company, because you're spending a lot of time and money into bringing that person on. You want them to, of course, stay with the company.
Yeah. So the bottom line is these integrations are great time savers. They definitely can save money. They also can help you with compliance. Again, if you can program those forms, the specific forms to pop up, that will help you ensure that every single time you're running a consistent process. So overall, we're big advocates of integrating the programs and think there are great benefits for employers.